Welcome to the evening edition of the Fanfare with Barry Cunningham. That's me. I love these kind of shows. I love these kind of shows where I can just watch along with you because being a big fan of Donald Trump, I am as well as you. This reminds me of the old days. You know, the old days like last year, last summer, we get together and watch a campaign rally, and we just loved the rallies. A lot of camaraderie. We got to actually smile and enjoy ourselves. Something tells me this show tonight is going to be just like that. It is now 8:49, due to kick off at 10 o'clock. I just hope Sean Hannity doesn't do one of those things where he does, oh, tomorrow night is part 2. I hate when he does that. Just do a whole hour. But in any event, want to tell you about something in terms of talking like it's a rally. Exactly. So guess what? Most of you probably don't know. I bet you few of you even know. Why is Donald Trump still down here at Mar-a-Lago? What the hell is going on in South Florida? What's the party? What's it all about? If people checked his daily schedule this morning, they're like, there's nothing there. And he hasn't even flown back to D.C. He's still down here in the sun and the fun. What's going on? So let me show you a little bit about what's going on down here. Boom. This is at Mar-a-Lago about an hour ago. And it's Donald Trump walking in with General Michael Flynn, none other than Iron Mike Tyson, and good old Uncle Ted Nugent, down here in a huge gala party, partying up and having a great time down here. I mean, someone else is there too. Who else is there? Let me see if I can see who else is here. It says Mar-a-Lago guest list included General Flynn, Mike Tyson, and Ted Nugent, but you left a big name off there. Mar-a-Lago just saw an unexpected trio. Unexpected for, people up north. General Michael Flynn, boxing legend Mike Tyson, and rock icon Ted Nugent all spotted at Trump's Florida state. The gathering has fueled speculation about what's brewing behind closed doors. I don't know. Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor, has remained a key ally. See, a lot of people didn't realize that. They thought that Michael Flynn was on the outs. Michael Flynn has remained a very key ally of Donald Trump. And then you got some pictures from the event. This is obviously Iron Mike right there. What's the next picture? Oh, that's the video you just saw. And then that guy right there. You guys know who that is. That is Russell Brand is down at Mar-a-Lago as well. So they're having a little bit of a soiree tonight. Maybe they're doing a watch party themselves. Not really sure. But tomorrow, just to talk to you guys about tomorrow, it's like a rally again. Because he's got another speech at a summit meeting down here. I believe it's in Fort Lauderdale. That will kick off at about 4 o'clock. I'll have the exact time as soon as it's ready, so you guys can tune in and check it out as well. So 4 o'clock tomorrow, he's doing a big speech down here in South Florida at the FLL Summit, which I will definitely carry, so you guys can come on in and check that out. Which means I have to figure out what the times will be for the second show, or tomorrow might just be a one long show depending on how long President Trump is going to be speaking. Thus far, I've looked around. I don't see anybody even talking about it. It's not even in the news. It's like they don't even know what the heck is going on down here. But in any event, if you guys weren't here for the earlier show, I want to play for you. It's very short. It's only like, 4 minutes. But it was 4 minutes of epic Donald Trump. And he eviscerated the media, the useless, irrelevant media standing in front of him today, as he read off a sheet of a small part of the corruption, crime, and grift that DOGE has thus far uncovered. In my estimation, this might have been his finest moment. 4 minutes of just ripping people to shreds and letting everybody know they're stealing from you. And seeing the media in front of him with nothing to say. Nothing at all to say. So let's listen to Donald Trump from this afternoon.
That's just that. And then, where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance. Investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental, sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million.
Keep that in mind. $520 million for an environmental, climate change study. We're going to come back to that.
Or ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice. $25 million going to Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $10 million for circumcisions in another country. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people? Can't we teach them about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Well, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money. They're one of the highest taxing countries in the world in terms of us. We can hardly get in there because their tariffs are so high. I have a lot of respect for India. I have a lot of respect for the Prime Minister. He just left, as you know, 2 days ago. But we're giving $21 million for voter turnout. It's voter turnout in India. What about voter turnout here? Oh, we've done that, I guess. We did $500 million, didn't we? It's called the lockboxes. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Eskali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see.
And you'll see nobody from the media who even wants to touch this. Americans got to hear from the President of the United States, who had to go out there with basically a cheat sheet and read off just a portion of the grift. Just a portion. And the media didn't want to touch it. No, the lady opened it up. She opened it up by talking about DOGE, and he walked into that door and said, okay, but what about this? And he started reading it off, and if you look around, you're not going to find it anywhere. Nobody is even talking about it. The reason why I mentioned earlier, I don't know if I have time to get to it because it's about to start like right now, is... He fired, let me see if I can put it up real quick before it's too late. Who knew that the way to identify and remove the Stasi was as simple as asking them to investigate real crimes for a change? And here, look at this, the headline. Senior prosecutors in Washington quit, citing pressure to probe Biden-era climate spending. They were asked to go in and check out what Biden did with this climate environmental spending, and they quit. They didn't even want to get near this. Today, we've seen so many people just dive out the window. The most recent person is the Postmaster General. He took the dive out the window. That tells you there is some serious poop coming. There are some serious problems. And we're about to see it all happen. This has only been 3 weeks. In fact, he's got 2 days before he celebrates his 1 month anniversary. All of this has happened. It seems like it's been 6 months. All of this has happened in under a month. Amazing. So tonight we're going to see Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Sean Hannity in a taped interview. They did it, I think, last week. Not sure when, but hopefully it brings a lot of clarity to what we've been seeing. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'm not going to try and interrupt it too much. I'm just going to watch it with you. Let's see how it goes. They're ready to cut to it imminently. Thanks you guys for tuning in. This should be an easy show. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Hannity, and we are back in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. In just a moment, we're going to take you inside the White House for an exclusive interview with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, alongside the left's newest boogeyman, the leader of DOGE, Elon Musk. In less than a month, both President Trump and Elon Musk, they have taken a wrecking ball to the deep state, all while exposing a shocking amount of waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at the federal level. But this is only the beginning. Brick by brick, dollar by dollar, penny by penny, the American people are taking their country back from the grips of what is an out-of-control bureaucracy, and not a moment too soon. So without further ado, here's part one of my interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. I got to start with this. So he's working for free with DOGE. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Well, I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know. And I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got he got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yeah.
That speeded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Sure.
And, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all these.
A while. I mean, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. So if you take for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order where, hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals, and yet they were still doing that even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing, because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
Now, you're both aware, you have to be keenly aware, that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore, because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah, and he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, And it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watched Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby, you grab your baby. It just
hug the rocket.
I've never seen.
Right, everything needs a hug, including rockets.
No, but and he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it, and he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. Now nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it, and they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology, so you learn. I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect, because, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress to follow up?
And they will be. A lot of them will be,
They will.
But look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have 4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning. Because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad. Because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. Their executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country, and it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay? But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, there's so many things, but open borders where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people are criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world. And we have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the numbers, they're down like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. She's very nice. He said, no, she's so tough. And she is. I see with the horses, she's riding the horse. Let's go. She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO, and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. I mean, you were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space, first private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's gonna fly
Starlink?
on his-
At some point. Yeah.
Is it
I mean, they was asking like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have a, what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me. And it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
Yes.
and people with spinal cord injuries that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like, so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually. Yeah, I think I supported Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is the essence of the science. The scientific method fundamentally is about always questioning the science.
Well, they didn't tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files. And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
That's why.
But he's on your team.
President.
Well, that's true. He can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this
Well,
guy.
thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful.
this is
here.
the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. DOGE. Nobody at DOGE gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are,
they do-
okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But I it's fair to say that the software engineers at DOGE could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so
And they're very committed people.
So
Yes.
you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
When are you
At
getting
the
them?
president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were
Yeah.
yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good. Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, but when we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as we're not complacent,
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
And
You
we're
have
being
the go-ahead.
extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like
He
we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question. So people get hit with Hurricane Helene, they have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue, you donated that, I
Yes,
believe?
yes.
Okay. You donated to the people
He saved a lot of lives
in
North Carolina. He saved a lot of lives.
and California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean in North Carolina where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were
Nothing.
dying. They were dying of starvation. He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now, and again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really didn't know.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't, you know, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him,
yeah,
you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk in a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane. Yeah. I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because I got invited to like basically a big sort of dem event like that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
But that was not before Trump.
Like BT, ashes on the floor.
BT. Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
All right, more of my interview.
That's going well. Glad you guys like it so far. Seeing a different side of these guys being so relaxed. I didn't know it was going to be like a relaxed interview like this. So just let you know, this is a taped interview that they did with Hannity. However, it is a premiere. It's not a repeat. There may have been snippets of it online in certain places, but it's an actual interview. So they're on a commercial right now. They'll be right back. And while they're doing that, I might as well do my read as well. Those of you guys who know, I use and have been talking about Patriot Addict. Patriot Addict is giving away Trump mystery boxes. Something different, absolutely free. No hidden charges, no recurring fees, none of that BS, just cover shipping. If you're interested, go ahead and scan the QR code right there, and that's all you need to do. Imagine unpacking Trump gold bars, Trump socks, Trump beanie hats, and who knows what else. These are the same guys who had the Trump red knives, and people have loved the knives that they've been receiving. But hurry, stocks are flying off the shelves, and we would not want you to miss it. Don't wait, scan the QR code right there, right now, and get your free Trump mystery box right now. It's very interesting. Mystery box. I might have to get that one myself. Understand what they're doing here with this. They're doing it with free, the box is free. Shipping, they're charging for. The knives were like 13 or 14 bucks. I didn't know they were doing a mystery box. Not really sure how much the shipping is on that. But I didn't see anybody complaining about the knives that Patriot Addict had been selling. They're not they're not charging for the box or what's in the box. They're just charging for shipping. So that's normal. I know I give away free hoodies. I don't charge for the hoodies. We go ahead and ship them. But that's us. That's us. By the way, we're going to be giving out 3 hoodies tonight after this interview. So be sure to stick around. So in any event, I'm looking at this poll, and this poll is telling me, 94% of people want me to go ahead and to cover the second part of this interview. Hannity, for some reason, always breaks things up. He does a part 1 and then he does a part 2 the next day. Okay, that's fine. We'll be on. Remember, we've got Trump at that rally-esque type speech tomorrow down here in South Florida at the Florida Summit. So we're going to cover that. And then, depending on how late that goes, we may end it and then do a second show right from there. Thus far, what we've seen hasn't been earth-shattering, but nonetheless, it's showing how these guys work together, and the media narrative is toast. It's done. they're very close. You can see they're close. You can see they have an objective. They know where they're headed with all of this. And then the guy's going to send an Uber up and collect some astronauts. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what this team is doing. Remember, we are still less than 30 days in. Under 30 days in everything you've seen with DOGE. I found it interesting. He said, these kids that, Big Bulls and some of the other guys who the media has been making fun of, these kids are worth millions. He said they could be working someplace else and getting paid millions of dollars. He knows what they're like. If you didn't see his launch last night of the revised Grok 3.0 and how that AI is working, it's absolutely fantastic. If you're not on X, you need to get there and start playing around with Grok because it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. You can do so much with it. Maybe too much. Maybe end up doing kids' homework and everything, but it's fantastic. In any event, these people that he makes fun of, these kids, well, they're more than just kids. They're brainiacs, absolute brainiacs. So if you guys want to go ahead and join us on the X if you'd like to join 15,000 plus fellow patriots on X in our private X/Twitter group, go to fanfareshop.org/group. Just put in that URL in your browser. It'll take you right to our private group on X. Love to see you there. Let's share some content. And if you'd like to win a hoodie, or rather if you'd like to enter to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org, fanfareshop.org, and register to win a Trump hoodie.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right. We're waiting for Hannity to come back while he's still on commercial break. Let me see what you guys are saying here. I like the AI on Facebook. I wish I could test it. Facebook booted me off quite a while ago. Thank you, Elon Musk. You are a blessing to us Americans. Yes, he has been. Let me see if they're heading back to the show. Not yet. Ladies and gentlemen, the great dream team is in the White House. I loved, and you know about that? I loved how Trump snuck off to Mar-a-Lago. Has been down here since, before President's Day, and is still here. Got a big event tomorrow. Big event. And he loves it. But then again, he could do everything down here that he was doing in Washington anyway. So here we go. We're back into the interview.
At the White House, and here's part two of my exclusive interview with President Trump and Elon Musk. Take a look. This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on, and you stop, in a way. You're still doing it, and you partner with him. And this is what you get for it from the Democrats. You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees. Okay, people are dying because of DOGE cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What DOGE is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it flying rip, or number one? And
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right. If like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful, I think. But what all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
They don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean...
Yeah, no, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President, and we've had conversations both on air and off air. And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders? They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people. And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, I mean, it was something. I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. You know, he was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made a better car where it's, you know, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars? I mean, it's really amazing the things he's done, but I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold, but I wanted great people. And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. You know, he uses the word care. So they sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care. Like, when I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now, they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing forever. I don't know what's going on. We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build like a ship a day, and now to build a ship is like a big deal. And we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done. And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build anything, whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything. And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right. They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment. It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin is going to be fantastic in the position. It's so important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month. You know, just as good.
Sure.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country to the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency if we really dig down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of this bureaucracy. And I'm going to get to the specifics. You say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And, you know, people, like, it's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do. He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
it's absurd.
Know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job. And they're so bad for the country. It's so dangerous and so bad. And the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch the enemy on occasion, the level of arrogance and cheating, and they're just horrible people. These are horrible people.
They tell conspiracy
liars,
theories.
and they start up with the Constitution. They couldn't care less about the Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, the hatred with the. I said, "Why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible. Those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP is bad. CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, a low IQ person, the opposite of him, the absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into as the answer. I've never even heard of that. I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to, just for the sake of saving time, because I could spend, and I've done this on radio and TV, I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad, like USAID, and I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it.
Well, I guess at a high level, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher, literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday, give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Yes, exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just $5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat. And if he would say, I'll give you 3, I don't want to pay you 5, it's too high, I'll give you 3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time. I would save so, but I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
You send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, we'll give you 5. No, I need more than 5. We'll give you 5. I'm not going to pay any more than 5. I will make it 6. No, I'm not going to make it 6. And you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half, and it took like 2 minutes. But none of that's
Someone call that the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring. He uses the word. It's caring.
Yeah.
It's a certain competence, but I think it's more caring than competence.
If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
But they lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure. They said that, they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
They flat out lied.
Insane.
Up next, more.
Wow. They're saying some things in this interview that are sitting here blowing me away. When the screen's off, I'm actually taking notes myself. Competence and caring. Deep. That's really deep when you think about it. You have to be able, if you care about somebody and you want to help them because you care about them, you have to have the competency to provide the care. Oh, and then like they said, Biden didn't have either. Biden and Kamala didn't care about America, and obviously neither had the competency to do anything. I mean, literally anything. Whew, wow. Oh, yes, wow, thank you, God, Kamala didn't win. Can you imagine where we'd be even today, 1 month into Kamala's presidency? These people can never, ever, ever win another national election. We can't even allow it. Can never allow it. Wow. This is great to watch. Yeah, it's like a shot in the arm. It literally is to me as I'm watching this stuff. And, this is the second show, and thank you guys for tuning in here. I know you have the opportunity to go all kinds of different places, but that's just it. Competence and caring about the people, even on here, people who are watching. And somebody asked for prayers earlier. I just love that you guys showered that person with prayer. It was fantastic. I love you guys for that. We haven't had this in our government in how long? Hannity, some of you guys are like, oh, he's horrible, and what would you ask? Okay, what would I ask? I think I typed it in the chat. My question to Donald Trump would be, tell us what Kash Patel's first day looks like. I'd love to know that. And then for Elon, same question I asked Mark, what was Mark's last name? Mark Mayer. My question for Elon would be the same question, but different in terms of getting it from him. How far are you in to discovering all this stuff? Do you think you're at, level 1 or level 9? How far are you? And how surprised are you with what you have found so far? Because we all knew that these people were scumbags. We all knew they were stealing from us in some way, shape, or form. I'm just wondering if anybody really thought about it in this degree, that all of this was happening. I don't know. And then another question I'd try to slide in, and this would be for both of them, President Trump and, Mr. Musk. I understand you want to audit Fort Knox. All right. So, what do you guys expect? And what happens if you open the doors and it's empty? What happens to America at that point? Because nobody's answering that question. We're going to have Kevin Demerit here from Lear Capital on Thursday. But I'm wondering what is going to happen when they open that vault. Don't know what could. Can you imagine? That hasn't been audited since 1974. So for 50 years, supposedly, nobody's peeked inside of it. And there's supposed to be 8,000 tons of gold. What happens when you open that? And, if it is there, fantastic. What do you do with it? What's it worth now? Are you going to go back on a gold standard? And what the heck are you going to do if it's not there? That would be terrifying. I had no idea where to even start. Yeah, just think. Patel's confirmation is coming. Should be on Thursday. Should be. So when he walks in the door at the FBI on Thursday afternoon, what can we all expect? Wendy Henschel says she thinks it's going to be empty. Is it true Biden stole $20 billion in gold bars to distribute to his cronies? I have no idea. None of us have ever peeked inside of Fort Knox. What if there's an empty room? Terrifying. Barry, thank you for watching MSNBC and CNN, so I don't want to add to their viewership. Oh, I got some stuff to show you, depending on how late we get down here. Like 10 minutes of a laugh track in terms of how insane these people are. But I'm kind of concerned with the people at Fox after what I heard today. After I saw Jackie Heinrich from Fox, after Trump read off all of that stolen money, and nobody talked about it. If I was in the press room, I'd have been like, oh, so what are we going to do about it? You found all this money is missing and misappropriated. What are we going to do about it? Are you handing it off to Pam Bondi? Are you waiting till Kash Patel gets office? Are you going to pursue charges if you find out people stole billions from Americans? That's what I'd want to know. That's something I want to know. Are we going to go after these people and find out where the hell this money is? Where was it spent? Who authorized it? All of that. I'd want to know every single thing about it. They have to refill it before Elon can go. Yeah, I would definitely look to refill it. And we're back.
Welcome back to Hannity, and we are in the Washington swamp where for years far-left bureaucrats burned through your hard-earned tax dollars on woke political causes, Green New Dealism, transgenderism, and, even anti-American propaganda. Those days are now over. More of my interview with President Trump and Elon Musk.
As I scroll this information, and I'll scroll a lot more than I'll mention to both of you, and this is the cost savings. I want people at home to understand this part. Average American makes $66,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay? We have $37 trillion in national debt.
Yes.
Now, all the money I'm about to mention and what we're going to scroll on our screen, and all of this is going to foreign countries. It is not being spent here in America for better schools, law and order.
I think the average tax-paying American should be mad as hell because their tax money is being poorly spent.
All right, let me go to the second question first. I want to know, because people like Joni Ernst and
Joni Ernst has tried for a long time, and she's actually got a lot of good data. Senator Ernst has been really helpful, actually.
Okay, but they actually hide what the real purpose of the spending is.
Sure.
In other words, this is a question. How did you decipher? It will say humanitarian blah, blah, blah in Serbia or Afghanistan. We even give money to China, for crying out loud, which I think is nuts.
We'll give money to the Taliban.
But money to the Taliban.
Like a lot.
All right, so
I'm like, for what?
But
I want to see the pictures of what they did.
But they try to obscure it, but then you got to the bottom line, which is what I'm now scrolling on the screen.
Yes.
And that is $20 million on a Sesame Street show in Iraq, $56 million to boost tourism in Tunisia and Egypt, $40 million to build schools in Jordan, $11 million to tell the Vietnamese to stop burning trash, $45 million for DEI scholarships in Burma, $520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa, DEI programs in Serbia. The president's favorite. I'm sure you love that taxpayer money was spent on a DEI musical in Ireland, or a transgender opera in Colombia, or a transgender comic book.
It sounds like how can these things be real? But this is actually what was done. It sounds like a comedy sketch or something.
I have 20 pages of this.
Right. It's not. It's a list a mile long.
If you had to put a number on it, how much do you think you've identified waste, fraud, abuse, corruption at this point? And again, we're going to be scrolling this throughout the program.
Well, the overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt. This is a very important thing for people to understand. A country is no different from an individual in that if an individual overspends, an individual can go bankrupt, and so can a country. And the massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
For this fiscal year.
Yeah, we inherited.
Yeah.
And inflation is back. I'm only here for 2.5 weeks.
That was January.
Inflation
You were
is
there for a
back.
week.
No, think of it. Inflation's back, and they said, "Oh, Trump inflation." I had nothing to do with it. These people have run the country. They spent money like nobody's ever spent. They were given $9 trillion to throw out the window. $9 trillion. And they spent it on the Green New scam, I call it. It's the greatest scam in the history of the country. One of them. We have a lot of them, I guess, but one of them. Dollar-wise,
and
probably.
DEI and wokeism and transgenderism.
Well, that's all part of it, yeah.
And LGBTQ+.
Yes.
By the way, not in America. Other countries, not here.
You know, the amazing thing is when you see, like, the teaching of DEI, $9 million. How do you spend $9 million to teach? No matter what it is, you could teach physics.
Totally.
You could go to MIT for
It's
a lot less.
expensive.
Yeah, the teaching of
expensive,
DEI.
yes.
How much do you believe, Elon, you've identified in waste, fraud, abuse, corruption now, and how much do you anticipate you will?
Sure. I think
1%. No, because it's so massive. This is huge money.
So what we found now is 1%.
We're just got
as
started.
good as they are, they're not going to find some contract that was crooked, crooked as hell. And I mean, there's going to be so much that isn't found. But what is found, I think he's going to find $1 trillion.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think it's a very small percentage compared to what it is.
Let me go to an area that I think is key, and you talked about this in recent interviews, and that is we don't need a Department of Education, okay? And what some people are trying to do is stoke fears that, oh my gosh, my kid's not going to get the money for education, or grandma's Social Security and Medicare. This was a big promise of yours on the campaign trail. So I really want to give you both an opportunity to assure the American people you will keep, that money will be allocated for students, but with higher standards. For example, I would assume associated with monies given or
Just
vouchers.
so much, and then Elon goes, but look, Social Security won't be touched, other than if there's fraud or something, we're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
You don't have to. Now, if there are illegal migrants in the system, we're going to get them out of the system and all of that, fraud, but it's not going to be touched. School. I want to bring school back to the states so that Iowa, Indiana, all these places, Idaho, New Hampshire, there's so many places, the states, I figure 35 really run well. And right now it's Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, China. China, can you imagine, has top schools. We're last. So they have a list of 40 countries. We're number 40. Usually we're 38, 39. The last time we were number 40. And what I say is you got to give it back. So it doesn't work. I'll tell you what we're number one in, cost per pupil. We spend more money than any other country by far. It's not even close per pupil. Okay, so we know it doesn't work. So we spend the most and we have the worst, right? The worst result. When we give that back to Indiana, when we give that back to Iowa and back to a lot of the states that run well, they run well. There's a lot of them, 35, 37, 38. Now you're going to have 10 laggards, but you're going to have 5 real laggards, but that's going to be okay. Take New York. You give it to Westchester County. You give it to Suffolk County. You give it to upstate New York. And you give it to Manhattan. But you give it to 4 or 5 subsections. Same thing in California. Los Angeles is going to be a problem, but you're going to give it to places that run well. We can change education. Now, school choice is important, but that will get taken care of automatically. We want to bring education back to the states. You will spend half the number, and I'm not even doing this. I'm not even doing this to save, but you will. It costs you much less money. You get a much better education. If you go to some of these states, you'll be the equivalent of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, places that really have a good school system. You'll have those places will be the equivalent, and your overall numbers will get so much better.
Do you want standards associated?
The only thing I want to do from Washington, D.C. is make sure they're teaching English, reading, writing,
math,
and
science.
arithmetic.
Science?
Okay, a little science.
Science might help.
You
Sure.
know,
computers.
You're not going to have much of a problem with that, but that's it.
So your task now, and I pray to God this is successful. I really do. I wish you Godspeed. Godspeed, John Glenn.
It's going to be, by the way. I really believe.
But there are
because the country's
legitimate
going to
areas.
do well beside this. This is cutting. We're only talking about cutting. We're also going to make a lot of money. We're taking in so much.
What about his business? What if there is
then we won't
a contract he would otherwise
let
get?
him do it. If he's got a conflict. I mean, look, he's in certain areas. I mean, I see this morning, I didn't know, but I said, do the right thing, where they're cutting way back on the electric vehicle subsidies.
Yes.
They're cutting back.
You lose
not
it.
only cutting back.
Hurt you.
Correct.
Yeah. Now,
You don't care.
I wouldn't tell you.
Well,
He's probably not that happy with it, but that would have been one thing he would have come to me and said, listen, you got to do me a favor. This is crazy. But this was in the tax bill. They're cutting back on the subsidies. I wasn't involved in it. I said, do what's right, and they're coming up with a tax, but it's just preliminary. But I mean, if he were involved, wouldn't you think he'd probably do that? Now, maybe he does better if you cut back on the subsidies. Who knows? Because he figures he does think differently. He thinks he has a better product.
Yeah.
And as long as he has a level playing field, he doesn't care what you do, which
Exactly.
is he's told me that.
yeah. I mean, I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
And if
true.
it comes up, how will you handle it?
Well,
He won't be involved.
yeah, I'll recuse myself if it is.
If there's a conflict, he won't be involved.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I wouldn't want that, and he won't want it.
Right, and obviously I'm getting a sort of a daily proctology exam here. You know, it's not like I'll be getting away from something in the dead of night.
Welcome to D.C. If you want a friend, get a dog.
Well, I do have a dog, but I also have friends.
Yeah.
My dog loves me, poor little creature.
You know the truth with this
I need
guy?
to bring him to D.C.
I know every businessman. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy's he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination, far beyond, you keep talking about a technologist and all, but you're much more than a technologist. You are that. But he's also a good person. He's a very good person, and he wants to see the country do well. And I know a lot of great business people, really great business people, but they're not really, in some cases, very good people. And I know people that would try and take advantage of the situation. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country, and I saw that very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character. That's why, who loves him? Young people that are very smart and that love the country.
Up next, more.
All right, so it looks like he's got about 5 more minutes for tonight, and then round 2 tomorrow. As much as Hannity is a guy who interrupts a lot, I think this has been a great interview. I got to see something I wanted to see was what was their working relationship like? Not Hannity. I'm talking about Trump and Elon. And you can tell that they have talked a lot. They have spent a lot of time together. They are in sync, I guess would be the word. They're also playing very close, keeping their cards close to the chest. They know, obviously, they know a lot more than they are letting on. Which means, who knows, Cash Patel, you're up, bro. You're up on Thursday. Lisa says, yeah, they're mastermind geniuses. Both of them. Unbelievable. Elon does not do all the work himself. No good person, no good boss does the work themselves. You surround yourself with the best people. You put together the best team, and that's your key to success. And so Elon has obviously put together an amazing team that the media can't even understand. All they want to do is make fun of their internet handles, big balls. They don't even know what the kid is like. I bet you could run circles around them. It's insane. Yes, they definitely respect each other. That's for sure. Get on board the Trump train. I wouldn't want to be in front of it. I definitely would not want to be an adversary as strong as these guys are right now. And understand this. In fact, I really truly believe this. I believe they are, what's the word? The front runners, the tip of the spear. They're the ones who are taking all the hits. Notice that. Everything in the media is Elon this, Trump that, Elon this, and the other people are pretty much getting a pass to do their work. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, he was out there today, and he was dropping some hints. Yeah, they've been stealing. I'm going to cover that tomorrow in my video, but Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who is now in charge of these payments, is seeing everything. And he's not taking any shots. Nobody is going after Scott Bessent. And he's the guy with all of the information. Remember, Elon is not in the cabinet. Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary. Everything has to funnel through the Treasury Secretary. And he's not even taking any heat from anybody. And he's the guy who's like, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at that. The other people who aren't really taking any shots anymore, you're not hearing a lot of people going after Pete Hegseth. Maybe it's because they can't plug all the holes at this point. It's overwhelming. It is a tidal wave of epic proportions, and the Democrats simply can't keep up. In addition to losing lawsuits and having judges overturn certain things, but I'm liking the fact that these two guys are basically being the frontline attack. They're taking all of the arrows, all of the bullets. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. You know what I mean. But in any event, all the other people are just back here doing what you got to do. They're not having to worry about anything. Let me see, are we back yet? Not back yet. And so I love the approach that they're taking. Keep your people back here shielded. Let Kristi Noem do what she's got to do. Let Scott Bessent do what he's got to do. Pam Bondi, she's turned into a ghost. You know she's busy, but nobody's talking about her. You don't see any post on X. You don't see any articles. You don't see MSNBC. Nobody's talking about Pam Bondi because they can't see what she's doing. I love that. I love the fact that Pam Bondi is getting a head start on anything. But you know what she's doing because today you saw it, that President Trump fired 93 U.S. attorneys across the country. Go away. Those are under the auspice of Pam Bondi. So she had to be involved in that decision. But she didn't make the announcement. President Trump made it. Again, he shielded her. I'll take the arrows. I'll be the one out front. Pam, just do what you got to do. Perfect. And so you got these two big personalities, two huge personalities, President Trump and Elon Musk, and they're made for this. Elon Musk doesn't care, doesn't have one F to give, and Trump, his entire life, he doesn't care. And which allows everybody else in the cabinet to do what they got to do what you got to do, and then no one's going to really bother you. Wait till you start seeing what Howard Lutnick is going to do. I'm telling you, that guy, the Democrats don't realize it. That's someone they need to be really, really afraid of. Here's Hannity.
Answering questions. And as always, thank you for being with us. Thank you for making this show possible. Please set your DVR so you never, ever, ever miss an episode of Hannity. In the meantime, let not your heart...
All right, so that's it. That's it for the interview. I'm going to keep going. I got some things I want to show you, but what I was just saying I thought was something you really need to keep an eye on. I'm telling you right now, keep an eye on Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is the guy who went to the New York rally, and in front of 20,000 people, he was the guy who said, I remember when this country didn't have to pay income tax. And this guy, he's got so much fire. He's got so much that he knows about building this economy. And what we've seen at this point, and then today you guys saw a little bit of it, DOGE wanting to give money back. So let me just touch on that real quick. There's a proposal being put out there by DOGE who doesn't have the authority to do much else. They can put out a proposal, President Trump or Scott Bessent, they're going to have to sell it to people. And it's, hey, we have found so much waste. We want to give every taxpayer $5,000. I'm telling you, I can't wait to see who goes against that. What stupid liberal is going to stand in opposition of people getting a $5,000 refund, or check rather, from the government? Please tell me who is going to stand in front of that in public and say, I don't believe we should do that. We can't afford it because the poor peoples didn't pay anything. Doesn't affect the poor people. The poor people didn't pay any taxes. 50% of the people in this country pay zero taxes. Zero. Nothing. You must know this. So when you're talking about the poor people, it's not fair to them. The hell with fair. They didn't pay anything. That's what's going to happen when they start talking about this proposal. You can bet on it. MSNBC, the Joy Reids of the world, look, it's not fair. It's not fair to those people in the inner city. It's not fair that they're not paying any damn taxes. How is that fair? So if we get a refund, if we get $5,000 each from the government, it's our money. See, that's the problem with everything they've done with taxation, is the vernacular, the vocabulary, how they call it. It's not a refund, it's my money. You owe me. It is a debt that the government has to you. It's not a refund, it's repayment. But they use the words to make it sound like they're doing you a favor. No, you took people's money every 2 weeks for 50 or for 26 pay periods. You took that money. People didn't have the option to say, no, I don't want to pay it this week. Your employer takes it out of your paycheck every 2 weeks, and you don't have anything you can say about it. Then, once a year, they say, oh, you get a tax refund. It's not a frickin' refund. You took my money and you're paying it back, but I have to even prove to you that I'm worthy of being paid back. I have to show you with all these documentations that, yeah, well, okay, we'll pay your money back. How about don't take it in the first place? You see, if you're paying all these refunds in April, then how about not take it? How about just submit a bill to everybody and say, okay, it's April 15th, we're changing up. Instead of taking your money every single 2 weeks, we want to treat you like adults, and we're going to send you a bill on April 15th. And here's how much you owe. Hopefully people act like adults and have saved the money or invested it or done whatever they wanted with it. And then at that point, they can elect to pay it or not. And don't forget, send it to the people in the hood too. But they'll never do that. They'll never, ever, ever do that. So stop telling people you're getting a tax refund. No, the loser government is repaying the money they took from you. It is not a refund. When you go to the store, you can bring back a hat and say, hey, it doesn't fit. I paid $10. Give me my refund. You didn't buy anything. They took your money without you being able to have a say in it one way or the other. And then want to make sure they can get more and more and more from you, and then call it a refund. Don't insult me. Don't insult me with this crap about it being a refund. Because if it was a refund, think about it. If I brought this hat back to Dick's Sporting Goods and said it doesn't fit me and I want my money, all I have to do is attach my receipt and you just give me my money back. When you file taxes, you have to prove. You have to prove that you're worthy of getting repaid. You just can't submit, hey, listen, I need here's my receipt of what I paid in. Give me back my money. Oh, no. Now you got to fill out, 1040 form. And if you made a certain amount of money, maybe you got to fill out a 1099 and attach that. And then you got schedules depending on how much you made, because you have to prove. You have to prove that you're worthy of getting money back from your government. So, sorry for that little rant, but you're going to see Howard Lutnick. I bet you between he and Scott Bessent, you're going to see a lot of things change. A whole lot of things change. So I got a couple of videos I want you guys to take a look at. These are really funny. This is my take on who does it? Sky News. Lefties losing it. Check these out.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of rules out there about how to behave when you're losing. But, the big problem is that Trump came in this second time, with a machine gun. And he fired so many shots. He said, first of all, the people that tried to kill Congress by attacking the U.S. Congress on January 6th, I'm going to pardon them all to let you know where I stand. I'm with them. That was a pretty clear statement. I'm with Article 2, not Article 1. I'm not with the Congress. I'm not looking out for you guys. And when it came time for advice and consent, which there was a whole book written about, and it was a big issue, the right of the Congress to say no to a cabinet appointment, he said, you're not going to do that because I'm going to shut you guys down, and he did. So Tillis and Cassidy and Collins, nobody talked. They shut down the Congress. He said, I'm the boss. And he just said the same thing overseas. He said, basically, let's see, I'm going to have one of my guys over there is going to say that Germany should go to the right. Germany should move to the right. Now, there's an interesting foreign policy. I haven't seen that in the 20th century, certainly. Go to the right. And that's what his vice president said. I want you to accept the AfD, join the right, put up with them, not only put up with them, tolerate and use them. Bring them forth. Go to the right. Get to the right. You know, it's unbelievable. And then he treats little countries like Ukraine like they don't matter. Europe like it doesn't matter. He's the big boss at home and the big boss overseas, and nobody stands in his way. And I watch the Democrats and the media too. It's very hard to take on a firing squad. A lot of bullets coming your way, all aiming at you, and you've got to shoot back in all directions at the same time. Nobody in the Democratic Party can say Schumer can't do it. He's a good leader. You know, Pelosi was a fabulous leader. But the ability to take on all the shots at once, now that's interesting. You know, Peter Baker can do it in the New York Times. You know, he's one of the few people who can actually...
Maybe talking about shots and President Trump might not be the analogy you want to use. Unless, of course, you're trying to stir up the orcs. Because nothing has worked with you people. So now the only thing you can do is try to motivate the orcs to go do something. So you use this incendiary language, but it's not working. They want it so bad. They can't. They can taste it. Please get out in the street and start burning some stuff up. Please. Please. Pretty please. Come on, Chris. Chris, you're not even on TV anymore. Remember him? He was the one who said Obama makes his leg tingly.
Lead a news story and talk about everything that's going on and attack back. Why can't a Democratic leader stand up and say, what I just said, this guy's taking down the Congress. He's taking down the rights of the American people. He's the big boss overseas and back here. The big boss. Listen to him. Do what he says. Nobody's saying that. Chris Murphy's trying. I keep waiting.
Yes, he's the big boss. He's telling everybody, the people overseas, people here, you get it. You got it, Chris. You understand what's going on. How are you supposed to take on a guy who wears a pinstripes? Well, he didn't wear it, but posted a picture of him in a pinstripe mob suit with a fedora with a little sign here say FAFO. That's the kind of attitude President Trump is coming in with because he's tired of y'all. He's had it. We've had it. There's nothing nothing you can say at this point, and there's obviously nothing you can do.
Who's going to stand up?
Who's a lot of noise.
Who's going to take a shot back at this guy? Why isn't Cory Booker?
Who's going to take a shot back at this guy? And nobody on MSNBC said, hey, Chris, maybe that's not the words we should use. Maybe you should have been talking about spraying machine gun. And now you're saying, who's going to take a shot at this guy? I know you're talking metaphorically, and you probably meant, just to come back at him. But there's a lot of loons out there who are like, yeah, who's going to take the shot? Yeah, I don't know. Who should take a shot? You moron.
He's got all the talent in the world. I am a big Cory Booker fan. Do it, Cory, do it.
The government does all sorts of things for which we need experience, expertise, accumulated and institutional knowledge, a stable training base, and a stable work environment in which professionals can oversee sensitive, complex, and life or death matters of 1,000 different kinds. What we have now instead is this wreckage. If you voted for Donald Trump, this is what you were voting for.
We have a lot of...
Yes, that's what we voted for, Rachel. If you voted for Donald Trump, this is what you have. You finally get it, right? You finally understand. Now this one's funny. This just tells you just how far crazy these people really are.
Oversight to do, and we have a lot to investigate. Because the reality is that this administration, which by the way, has been in power for 24 days. But I promise you, I have at least 20 more gray hairs in this last 24 days.
Why do I care about your gray hair? Is that supposed to motivate people? I don't know.
It has felt like a year of pain.
Yes.
And I know that it feels that way for all of you.
Yes.
The uncertainty, the fear. This is an administration that talks about accountability, but apparently in the definition for them in the glossary, accountability means retribution, retaliation, and loyalty for the Trump, Elon Musk administration. That's what accountability means to them.
Yeah. So I want to...
They're starting to get it. Finally, you're starting to get it. We want your asses. I'm sorry. Yes, we want retribution. Yes, we want retaliation. That's what we voted for. They're finally starting to get accountability. Oh, there's a whole bunch of accountability coming. There's an accountability train coming at you. You know, we're sending over $50 million of condoms to Mozambique. Oh, but it wasn't Gaza. It was Mozambique. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, accountability. Good luck.
Tell you why the dismissal of charges against the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, is such a big deal. Dictators and despots, they use law enforcement to try to compel loyalty. They threaten you with arrest if you're not loyal. They will let you get away with crimes if you are loyal. I'm
pretty sure a couple years ago, people got threatened. You either take this jab or you get fired. That's what dictators do. You either do this or you're done. Unless you're, go along with what they say, that's it. How many of you couldn't open your businesses, couldn't go to church? But then you'd see people protesting and go, what? How come they can do that? Oh. How many of you have had children who had to endure, Transformer beauty pageants and stuff? We didn't want that in our schools. I don't want that with my grandkids' schools. But we didn't have a choice. It's DEI. It's DEI month. It's Pride month. And you're blowing it in our face. We didn't have a choice. Yeah, you're right. That's what dictators do. They didn't allow us not to participate. I didn't want to wear the pin. I don't care. I'm done. If whatever you want to do in your bedroom's fine. I don't need to see it. So tell me more about how dictators go.
What's happening in America today? That's exactly what just happened in New York City. Eric Adams was under indictment for serious corruption. And the Trump administration, the Trump White House, went to him and said, regardless of whether you've committed crimes, we will dismiss the charges as long as you pledge loyalty to Donald Trump and specifically his immigration policy. They cut a deal. They were pretty unapologetic about it. Eric Adams literally went on TV to announce the deal, and now the charges are dropped. Now, of course, that is a fundamental corruption of democracy. 6 high-level Department of Justice officials resigned because they refused to dismiss the charges. Finally, Trump found a 7th who would. 4 of Eric Adams's deputy mayors resigned because they could not be part of this kind of corruption. But this is the death of our democracy that is literally happening as we speak. If the President of the United States can threaten you with arrest if you aren't loyal, or can let people get away with crimes because they are loyal, we don't have the rule of law in this country any longer. This isn't like a funny, interesting New York City story. This is the descent of democracy into smithereens right in front of our eyes. And just because they are transparent and brazen and public in their corruption doesn't mean that it isn't corruption. Everybody in this country who wants to make sure that law enforcement, that the police, that our courts are on the level, need to be raising an alarm right now about what just happened in New York and what that means for the future of law enforcement in this country.
I keep going back.
I have a question, Mr. Murphy. I want you to think way back in time. Go back in history to like January 18th or 19th. And I also want you to think of, there was a comedy show back in the day with Johnny Carson, and he would have this character in a turban, and it would be the Great Karnak. And he would hold up paper to his head and go, "Oh, I'm going to do that with you right now, Chris, but you only have to go back to January 18th or 19th. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Adam Schiff, Anthony Fauci. Criminals who got a deal from Joe Biden. That's your answer. You must have the stupidest constituency known to man who can't remember literally 30 days ago. Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Adam Schiff, and the little elf himself walk scot-free. They cut a deal with the president. You were all heralding that. That was fantastic that Joe Biden gave all those people a pardon. Save it, man. We're not stupid. We are not stupid whatsoever. Maybe the people who voted for you, they're real stupid. They let you talk down to them. We just lived through 4 years of preferential treatment. We just lived through 4 years of the Biden crime family doing whatever they wanted. I don't know, Hunter Biden.
Dude, this does remind me of the federal government version of the Afghanistan drawdown. Everyone agreed it was pretty much a bipartisan consensus. We needed to get out of Afghanistan. The way we went about doing it was horrible. We could have done it in a better way. Right now, we agree that there's waste in the federal government and that everyone would like to cut the deficit and cut spending. The way they're going about it makes no sense. They need to be more strategic about what they're cutting and where, and have some success, have some early success to show that the mission can continue before you just decimate and hollow out critical areas like nuclear security.
She just compared the pullout from Afghanistan to cutting waste. Notice she didn't mention corruption or fraud whatsoever. It's just waste. It's just like getting out of Afghanistan. She said that. And then she started, critiquing the strategy of what Trump and Elon and team are doing, when she obviously knows as much about the strategy that Trump and Elon are using as I do, which is I don't. You put these morons on television and they say some of the most stupid crap you can possibly imagine, and pass it off as though it's an expert opinion.
There is a pretty good legal case that Elon Musk should not even have access to be carrying out this purge that he is. And secondly...
Psst, psst. Elon has top secret clearance. I don't know if you know that.
I would say that we have zero transparency, really, into how this is being done. Really, I think the message that the American people need to be hearing more is like all of this is being done, this slashing and burning, to essentially prepare the country for Donald Trump's tax cuts to the wealthy. And there's got to be a way to pay for that. And what's going to happen is that everyday Americans in their everyday lives are paying for it already. We're seeing it in, government services that are going to suffer already. We've been seeing that the FAA is really not up to the mark at the moment. They're being gutted.
She's making this up, right? MSNBC, they allow people to go on their television show and let people just lie. None of what she has said thus far is true. None of it. I could ask the best troll in here, hey, show me what she's saying is true. Show me where they gutted the FAA. Gutted. It's not true. But they don't care. It's MSNBC.
Medicaid, Medicare, every part of the government that touches Americans' lives is about to be impacted. And it's not clear yet that there's a broad realization of this outside of Washington, D.C. But it's coming. And I think...
No, we pretty much don't live in Washington, D.C., and we understand fully. It's you people in Washington, D.C., who are holding on to the dream. By the way, ma'am, since you are a ma'am, do you know how much a condom costs? I'm just wondering. Just say it. Just humor me. Tell me how much a condom costs. What? Now tell me how many condoms you can buy for $50 million. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, why in the hell am I sending him to Mozambique? Since you're so worried about essential services. I'm just saying. $50 million to condoms in Mozambique. But because it's not Gaza, that's a little bit different, right? Yeah.
That's one of the questions that I have just as a journalist right now is, do everyday Americans in the rest of the country understand that this is going to impact their lives in ways they can't even imagine yet? That's part of our job.
You're too stupid to know that these cuts and what they've been finding and what people have been stealing, you're too stupid, everyday American, you hack. You're too dumb to understand they've been stealing your money.
Job is to explain that this is not just about government workers in Washington. This is about the IRS. This is about people's tax returns. This is about people's Social Security. Nothing is secure right now, and the government is not being remade to be efficient. This is an effort to destroy it.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that is the core message that Democrats need to be explaining every day in great detail. This is not an effort to make things more efficient.
Please, dear God, I hope Democrats take your opinion and run and scream from the rooftops that people are too stupid, everyday Americans are too stupid to know what's going on. Because that's what she just said. You're too dumb. Everyday American. As a journalist, I got to be journalizing. And when I be journalizing, I be telling people as many lies as I can possibly. But you wouldn't understand that, you hayseed hack. These people, above everything else, are the most condescending elitists you could even imagine. She just said that. I'm a journalist, so I can tell you. When I be journalizing, you people don't know what's really going on.
Every American understands there's ways to make government more efficient. Nobody is against that. But this is not an effort to do that. This is an effort to destroy the government so that it's easier for oligarchs and the Heritage Foundation to do whatever they wish. I've got a lot.
How did you throw the Heritage Foundation in there? How you put, and this and that, and the Heritage Foundation. How about the Salvation Army? Make it harder for them too? I don't know. How about the Girl Scouts? How did you just throw the Heritage Foundation in there at the end as a punctuate? So let's finish up here and we'll give away the hoodies with the best spokesman in the Senate. This guy, in my estimation, I could, if Ashley, if you could ever get him on, I would probably ask one question and just sit back because this dude, he can bring it. He can absolutely bring it.
A lot of friends are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it. Over the past 4 years.
Oh my God. I'd like to tell my Democrat friends, try harder not to suck. Oh my God. Oh, that's amazing.
The Democrats mismanaged Congress. They mismanaged COVID. They mismanaged the economy. They mismanaged inflation. They mismanaged the national debt. They mismanaged Afghanistan. More recently, in their opposition to President Trump and Mr. Musk, the Democrats have chosen to support the bureaucrats and the spending porn over the American taxpayer. Just like they support illegal immigration over the rule of law, just like they support transgender athletes over women's sports, just like they support Hamas terrorists over Israel. All Democrats are not like this, but the party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor and puberty blockers. I know these people. They think men can breastfeed. They're triggered by race. They cry if you use the wrong pronoun. And most fair-minded Americans look at this and they go, these people are about 10 exits past normal. And that's what's killing the Democrats right now, in my opinion.
You gotta try harder not to suck, and you're about 10 exits past normal. Oh my God. It was funny when I put it together. It's funny now. Hope you guys enjoyed Senator Kennedy because, oh my God. Just try harder not to suck. That sums it all up. That sums up the Democrat Party. 10 exits past 10 exits past normal. And there's no off-ramp. That's the problem. They're 10 exits past normal, and there is no off-ramp. There's no U-turn. They're done. They don't even know how to try not to suck that bad. That's how bad they suck. Oh, my God. I would literally just love to just sit in a room with that guy. I don't drink, but I'm like, I'm going to pop open a beer, Senator Kennedy, and I just want you to talk to me because I don't know where you grab these things from. You are fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I love him too. He's a Louisiana senator, right. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt, somebody says. Oh my God, I love his opinion. All right. Again. People like, again, play it again. I might have to cut that. I might have to cut that part. You just gotta try harder not to suck. I'm sorry. All right, compose myself. Be professional. The dude broke me. Just completely broke me. All right, so let me go ahead and get you guys out of here. Let's give away some hoodies because, whew, that was much. That was just amazing. Simply amazing. Love that guy. So, in closing here, let's go ahead and give away some hoodies. We're gonna give away 3 hoodies right now. Let me go ahead and put this up. Whew. Senator Kennedy, you're bad, bro. You're so bad to be saying that kind of stuff. All right, here we go. We're going to give away 3 hoodies. We're going to do the live draw. And what I need to do, where's my drum roll? All right, first winner of the hoodie, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. Felicia Williams, you have just won a free Trump hoodie. Thank you for signing up. Let's continue. Oh, that's funny. Drum roll. Pick a new one. Norberto Medina, you have won a free hoodie. It's funny, Ashley has been sending me all kinds of pictures with people, and this weekend I'm going to sit down and put all the pictures together of so many winners who've been modeling their hoodie, and they're loving it. So I got to show that to you guys. And Denise Johnson, you have won a free hoodie. Congratulations to everybody who won. And again, if you'd like to win, hey, if you'd like to join 15,000 plus fellow patriots on X in our private X/Twitter group, go to fanfareshop.org/group. Just put in that URL in your browser. It'll take you right to our private group on X. Love to see you there. Let's share some content. And if you'd like to win a hoodie, or rather if you'd like to enter to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org, fanfareshop.org, and register to win a Trump hoodie.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Okay, and we're back. All right, so it looks like I will be doing, I understood that Hannity said there was a part 2. If there is a part 2, I will definitely cover it, and we can then look at part 2 tomorrow. So let me go ahead and right now acknowledge the super chats. Okay, let me see which window should I bring that up in. Does it the best. Which window? What number? What number window is this? Okay. Looks like this might be the best window. Yes, it is. All right. So let me go ahead and acknowledge the super chats from tonight. Thank each and every one of you for tuning in. We had a big night tonight. Lots of people tuned in. Love it. Thank you very much. Just trying to get this to the top. Oh, here's the bar. All right. There we go. Diamond. My gird. I can't handle all this winning. Conrad Bouchard, thank you. MAGA Mama, hey, thank you. We are blessed to be a part of this great Fanfare family. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your participation. Valerie Nelson, thank you very much. Ultra Fine Point, thank you, Trump, for helping to denuclearize and unify the Koreas. Please return to the peninsula and continue the work and rebuke Johnny Somali. Valerie Nelson, again, thank you. Got to let everyone know Musk and Trump work for free. Yep. Ultra Fine Point again. Can you believe how super patriotic this whole administration is? Trump, Vance, Hegseth, Gabbard, Kennedy, Musk, Homan, what a time to be alive. Yes. Ruby Langdon, thank you. Steve Hale, again, very appreciate all you do. Appreciate you for tuning in. Keep on winning, Johnny Owen says. Thank you. New toothbrush. Thank you, Barry and Mods. Josie Maeda. Yeah, you can see that. Thank you for your show. It's the best. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. It just makes it worthwhile, the effort that we put together to put these shows together for you. Karen C4, if it's not there, talking about Fort Knox, the price of gold will be astronomical, but I dread what else that will entail. I can't wait to talk to Kevin from Lear Capital so he can tell us what the heck that means. Sue Ellen, it will be full of peanuts. Jeremy Kerr, thank you. Fort Knox equals Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or Geraldo's Capone stunt, vault stunt. And Amira Roach, hey, thank you. Barry, thank you for the hoodie. I fell asleep and didn't even know. MAGA Mama told me. I was so excited. I woke my husband up with the replay of the video of you announcing my name. So stoked. Pictures coming soon. All right, make sure you get with Ashley, and she has all the information to get that to you. Subster, hey, Barry, appreciate you. Where's Tulsi? Quiet as well. That's what I was saying. There are some people who are quietly doing some work, and you don't hear anything from Tulsi. How about, I'm going to give you a name. I'm going to give you a name, and you're probably going, oh yeah, he's really? Heard anything from John Ratcliffe? Some of you guys are probably saying, who? Well, if you don't know, John Ratcliffe is the director of the CIA. Ain't heard a peep from him. And now Tulsi is working with him, and she's gone deep, deep, deep undercover. If I were a Democrat, I wouldn't be paying so much attention to Elon Musk. I would be wondering, what are these three working on? Three meaning Tulsi, Ratcliffe, and Pam Bondi. Because they've gone deep undercover. Think about that. Southern Ninja, Barry, I appreciate you so much. Your show is the best. Thank you. You have such a unique way of telling us the news. I've learned so much from you. Thank you very much. Nikki Esselman, what would happen if the Democratic senators didn't show up to vote? Thank you for the great shows. God bless. If they didn't show up, then we got 53. Mike the Plumber, thank you. Prayers for Tunaman. Yeah, Tunaman was asking for prayers earlier. Ruby Langdon, if it's not there, what happens next? That's why they're trying to get the gold back from England to get it back to its home, Fort Knox. If there's anything in there, it'd be surprised. Like I said about some of the other stuff, it's too late. It's not like you're going to show up with a big old, Hertz rental truck with gold and no one's going to notice it's coming back. They already know. Put it this way. Trump knows. Elon already knows. The fact that they're talking about it tells you they already know. They're just building up to something. These guys aren't telling anybody anything they don't want you to know. And I've said before in my show, it's the stuff they're not talking about which should scare the daylights out of the Democrats. See, the stuff that they're throwing out to us and feeding us and like, oh, that's horrible. They already know a lot more. Trust and believe. They know a lot more. So is the gold in Fort Knox? They already know. Guarantee you. Born on the 4th. I'm worried about U.S. bankruptcy for years. Sherry, yeah, good idea. Sherry, we're already bankrupt. We just keep borrowing and printing money. Sherry Bertrand, thank you. Barry and friends, I'm so glad I found you and friends. I'm 63, and never in my life have I been so excited about our country. Yep, exactly. Blaze, thank you. Charles Concrete Construction. As a small business owner, I like to see Elon look into PPP loans. I'm sure it's coming. I know personally a fraud I have heard of from a bank president of investments made to earn money using PP loans. Not very ethical. Yep, I'm pretty sure it's coming. Born on the 4th, Danbury's prison will need an addition. Oh, no. Gitmo, baby. Gitmo. Nisa Whitaker, Barry, please post a link to your hoodie shop somewhere on your page. I can never find it. Okay, I'll start putting it in the description. Thank you very much. Iris Bolin, I enjoyed the interview with President Trump, Elon, and Hannity. It just didn't last long enough. I know. We all just want more. More, please. More. Judy Copso, thank you, Barry. Love this interview. Thank you for watching. Carlisle Weeks, twice. When will we see arrest and prosecution of these lefty thieves? In time. Jabs. Trump understands the pen is mightier than a sword. The Dems just get violent. And they can't even do that. I've been watching some of the protests, and it's a bunch of old hippies. Jeremiah Kerr, you are the enemy. Do you believe we accept that you are paid to lie to us? We are not pliable. Y'all are criminals. And Jeanette, we want to see arrests made now for taking our tax money, giving it to other countries, and probably launder it back here to Democrats. Tilly, thank you. Not one F left to give. That's a great handle. The problem is we've been ripped off for years now. The compensation is only based on last year. It's a start. I don't think they're done. That's the first proposal 3 weeks in. Jeremiah, getting sick of this. What the red diaper doper babies don't get is this is going to light a fire the United States citizens will light that you cannot put out. We go for the throat. Yep. Mel Porter, thank you. Mary Boston, Senator Kennedy is hilarious. He is too much, man. Mega Man, I love Senator Kennedy's down-home wisdom. he is absolutely just the best. Where'd I go with that? Okay. Donna, I envision when cash gets in, they'll all get together and bust open the gates of reckoning, slamming people with arrest, prison, and humiliation. Some of the people are going to be easy pickings. So you watch. And those first people who get arrested are the ones who are going to terrify the other people, because those people are going to sing like canaries. If Chris Murphy was worried about, and that's what he's worried about. Chris Murphy isn't worried about Trump giving Eric Adams a favorable deal. He's worried about Eric Adams blabbing. Too late. I'm sure he already knows. Fume drummer, consider putting all the pics of hoodie winners in a collage, set it to music, and use it for the after party background. You got it. That's what I will do. Dorothy King, thank you. Neo, thank you. We'll try to get into the Patriot group. I don't know why you're having a problem. I mean, I didn't see. Send me an email with your handle so I can see. But we check it. Myself and the mods always check to see who's waiting for approval. So there wasn't anybody as of like 8 o'clock. So let me know. Watch out, Omega Drone. Watch out for the dodging and bullets. Tommy Juanito Giannico. You're not Italian, are you? Rudy Gianni said it was going to be a shocker. Where did I go? Oh, okay, there. Edward Hartman, great show, Barry. Odd job, stole gold and Goldfinger. Thank you. Trevor Norse, God bless Barry. God bless you. God bless all of you. Sherry Clem. Hi, Barry. I wish I had a fraction of each President Trump's resilience, Elon Musk's brilliance, and John Kennedy's wit. Well said. Yes, that's very well said. John Kennedy's wit, man. And Donald Trump's, I guess it's resilient. Same thing. Just crazy how he's able to just keep going and going and going and going. All right, everybody. That's all I got for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. As you know, as I get ready to close, I always put the after party on. I realize it's 10:43. Some of you guys may be going to bed, but some of you guys may want to hang out. Those of you who have never been here before, and we had a really large audience tonight, what I do is I sign off, which is me saying bye, but oftentimes people want to hang out and chat. And you may meet some people and they asked us to, hey, listen, extend it. So, they may want to talk about what they saw tonight. So if you just wanted to hang out and talk to some really neat people, that's what we're all about. We're just not a normal YouTube channel. We have built a community, a family, and you're invited to stay and hang out with everybody. All right, that being said, see you tomorrow.